Hello, I'm Canay Atalay. Welcome to Regenerative Innovation with Canay. In this program, we are exploring beyond our accustomed ways of thinking about innovation, how we can innovate, prioritizing life in the center of everything that we are thinking, from economies to cultures to technology, how we can step into that role of being the humanity who cares and serves for life. And with that invitation, we are having amazing conversations with our esteemed guests from around the world, and for always to seek how we can better care of ourselves, of each other, and our beautiful earth, this beautiful planet. That's what we are seeking for. And today I'm very excited to have dear Ayşe Birsel with us. I have been following her for many years, since the time that I got to see her book, Design the Life That You Love, and I'm very lucky today she's with us. Let me introduce you with her, if you don't know, which is very rare, but quite a chance also if you are new to regeneration and design thinking. Ayşe Birsel is one of the Fast Company's Most Creative People 2017 and is on the Thinkers 50 radar list of the 30 management thinkers most likely to shape the future of organizations. She is the author of Design the Life You Love and gives lectures on Design the Work You Love to corporations. And lately you can also see her blog, Design the Long Life You Love. Ayşe, welcome.
Canay, thank you so much. It's great to be here with you.
It's great to have you. And now you're connecting from Paris.
I'm connected from Paris, exactly.
Congratulations
I was
on
just
the
in
move.
Istanbul. Thank
Oh,
you.
we missed each other. So, Ayşe, I'm just going to jump into the topic. I have been a design thinking champion for the last 15 years of my life. And now I'm so passionate about regenerative innovation, the last 8 years, I can say. From human-centric design thinking to regenerative design and innovations, with all the ecological transformations, with technology, with the expectations of society, how do you see that evolution, and how are you reframing design thinking with the consciousness of being also responsible for more than human life?
Yeah, I've been applying design thinking to our life, which I think is our biggest project. And this really goes hand in hand with our own well-being as an individual, but also our environment, our community. So I see it as one continuum, and it's all about optimism and empathy and collaboration. So it's truly a very natural continuation.
That's beautiful. I have participated in a couple of your sessions online, and it was truly amazing how you make the macro challenges into really like relatable steps, step-by-step processes that are so compassionate and gives that sovereignty and agency to the people to be responsible of what they want to live, how they want to work. I really love that approach, that invitation, especially at the times that we are going through, because the innovation doesn't happen just in the technology, just in the business model, but also the way we are living every day, the way we are leading every day. And you have helped, I don't know how many, but so many leaders around the world to make that transformation in their lives and in their organizations. How do you see design thinking and its importance to make that transformation, to make that bridge to the new world that we really need to step into, and to embrace that we are nature, we are this whole life, and we can make it?
I think part of it is my goal is to teach everyone how to think like a designer. And when I say that, I mean, how can we all become problem solvers? And when we're faced with challenges, that we can, as individuals and together, overcome those problems. And instead of staying in the problem state, how could we, just like you said, with simple steps, open our mind to think about the same things differently and move towards solution making. And that really requires the optimism that no matter how hard the problem, we can come up with a better solution. And I've been working with ordinary people, and I call non-designers ordinary people. They're extraordinarily creative, but just like designers, they need a process to unleash that creativity. And I've been working with young people from like high school ages all the way to people who are 90 plus, and everything in between. And what I found is this desire for to solve problems, to better understand problems. And what I do is teach people how to deconstruct and reconstruct. And I found people to be just incredibly creative and great design partners as well.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, in regeneration, we are talking about how we can really tap into each person's innate capacity to evolve, like how we can really serve to that. And this is exactly what you're doing. And this agelessness, you know, without barriers of education or, you know, discipline or age or social status, enabling people to tap into that designer heart set and mindset is a beautiful invitation. And I really also like that you make an emphasis about, I remember from one of your sessions, when it looks like a problem and a constraint, you make it so playful and turn it into an opportunity to really expand the way you think and the way you participate in the solution of it. Can you tell us a little bit about that process and how it can be a practical also guidance to the people, to the leaders or ordinary people? Like you said, we are all people and magnificent people, but how it can be a beautiful invitation, a practical invitation, people also to see what they are going through these challenges, maybe something, an invitation to be a little bit different and a more liberated version of themselves.
Yeah. I love that. And thank you for remembering that, because that's one of the key tools and principles that we use. We all have challenges. I think that our life is our biggest project. And with that, it has incredibly complex challenges to that we need to solve at every level. And you know, accepting that and seeing challenges and as opportunities is the key. And I learned this from my own work, where I was designing an office system for Herman Miller and in the States, and they had asked me, they basically gave me a budget and they said, whatever you do, it needs to be 50% the cost of our most affordable system. And I thought to myself, that's great. You know, they were giving me what they thought was an incredible challenge. How could you take out 50% of something that's already at low cost? But I saw that as an opportunity to do a complete renovation and innovation, you know, instead of an evolution. So seeing a challenge as an opportunity helps us reframe the situation. And I'll give a very simple example from our life. You know, you might say, oh, my house is really small and that's a challenge. But the opportunity is it's so much easier to clean. So it's just seeing, like, how could you see the, in a way, you know, the silver lining in the problem and lean into that to solve it.
I mean, this is such an core regenerating shift in the mind. I love that. And I can see it also in your being, Ayşe. I mean, you have been as a, you know, Turkish design leader, being in the domains of with all the other designers that I admire, and with that smile of yours. And I really truly love when you switch to from the design the life you love, to design the longer life you love. I'm like, she's doing it. There's so much energy in what you are doing, in your spirit, even the Zoom calls, the tea talks that you are doing. I believe that's the secret to the beautiful lives that we can all have. It's within our reach. It doesn't require a big house, a big movement. Like it's truly within. I want to appreciate that. Yeah, because that has
Thank
been
you so much.
that has been a major inspiration for me. Because, okay, I'm going to admit, I started reading your book, Design the Life You Love, when I was going through a very difficult divorce process. And I was so stuck in my problems. So, yeah, and instead of focusing on that, what is collapsing, I have focused on, oh, I can redesign it. That's an opportunity. That's my freedom. And this is how I started actually following you. So it was this very important milestone in my life. So thank you for that.
Thank you for sharing that. That really makes me happy. And it's funny because this whole idea of designing our life, for me as well, came from a challenging moment when in 2008, the economy crashed in the States. We were a very successful innovation studio, but all our clients took the work in-house, and we found ourselves with no work, little kids to take care of. You know, we had just had our 2 daughters, and it was I found the solution through design thinking and seeing the opportunity in that, and I realized, okay, this is a very frustrating, difficult moment, but I have time, because if we have no projects and no clients, I can think about the things that are important to me that I wouldn't have had a chance to do if it wasn't for, you know, the recession. And so a friend of mine encouraged me to think about how I think and to use this time to develop my own process. And that's how it all started. You know, I developed deconstruction, reconstruction, and then thought, well, if our life is our biggest project, can I apply it to my life? Can I teach this? Does it work? So it was kind of like a proof point. And that's what got, if it hadn't been for that recession, you know, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So.
Wow, amazing. And Aisha, these little, you know, little micro experiences leading to those big transformations in our lives, and you also do it with organizations. And how does this process relate to big organizations when there is so much that already in the system, and not everybody is ready to be the design thinkers, you know, be flexible, but how do you create that imitation, harmony, that playfulness for people to take that, you know, traumatized hat off or you know, like limited, reduced roles, and then step into that childlike creativity?
I love that question, John. The way I do it is I trick them. So one of the things that I realized is every design tool is a way to trick our minds for our own good. So, you know, what we just talked about, for example, seeing a challenge as an opportunity is really actually a way to shift our consciousness intentionally and to get out of our heads. So I do that with big organizations, and in the guise of let's play together, let's think creatively together, let's make this fun. I give them certain exercises that they don't really see where it's going to go, but I know where it's going to go. And so we do deconstruction, reconstruction together, break the difficulty into smaller parts, and play with different ideas until we can bring it together into a new way of thinking. And what I find is if you can get leaders and their teams to think differently, once they see a new idea that they can get excited about and have ownership of, then, you know, they're off to the races. It's really getting to them out of their heads into a new place, and with the new idea, the optimism of the future, that they can overcome difficulties because they believe in this idea.
Over and over
Does
and
that make
over
sense?
again, like so much sense. And I don't want to make sense, I just want to feel it, because it's over and over again. I'm noticing how the mind becomes the barrier to really harmonize ourselves with what life wants to express through us, with all these capacities of creativity, joy, resilience, willpower, intelligence, of all the systems that we are carrying in these beautiful bodies and around us. Thank you so much for doing the work, Birsel. I think you're touching so many lives. And I'm so curious with one last question from me. What excites Ayşe Birsel right now? What's the next excitement, the passion? It can be a project, it can be whatever, but I'm curious, what's going on in your life?
Well, one thing that I'm really excited about is, there are a couple things, but one of them is we started a new initiative that we're calling Design Connections. And it's a health remedy against loneliness and isolation, which, as you know, has become a huge epidemic in the States and across the world. And we're using our methodology and design thinking to help people to self-reflect and collaborate with each other, and through that solve their, come up with their own solutions to make social connections and to overcome loneliness and isolation. So I'm very excited about that.
Oh my God, I'm so looking forward to participating in it and supporting the movement. Yes, please.
You're already supporting the movement. And you were mentioning the virtual teas that we did during COVID, and that kind of became a building block of how you can use the process to connect with other people and build communities of that have empathy for each other and trust. And so that's really we just did a pilot in Alaska. And now we're building on the next multi-site pilot to be able to measure the effects and scale it up.
Looking forward to it. And we can find the information on your website?
Soon, once we have the first results, yes, we'll have a report on it.
Amazing. I'm so happy. Thank you for announcing it here. Ayşe, in the end of our session, we have this inquiry circle. Each guest asks a question to the next one. And your question is coming from Cemal Akar from Turkey. He's a businessman, but also recently a social entrepreneur. They have initiated a surf school in Hatay, where the earthquake has happened. It turns out that one of the longest wave surf beaches is in Turkey, in Hatay. So he became a social entrepreneur, and he sent you this question.
Oh,
how do you think?
Okay.
Yeah. How do you think regenerative innovation can create a transformation at the intersection of social entrepreneurship and design thinking? In your approach to designing life, how can social entrepreneurs integrate this innovative perspective into creating social value and sustainable solutions?
Oh, beautiful. Thank you for that question. And you said Cemal?
Cemal.
Yeah. So what I found to be one of the most powerful tools is to co-design with end users. So instead of designing in my own corner, to really co-design, share my process with people who will eventually use these ideas. And ideate with them. And I found that recently, in the last 8 years, this has been our approach to working with our clients, including them in the process, working with their end users. So I would say this is really the way of the future. And it's interesting because last year we worked with Suna'nın Kızları in also the earthquake areas. And we taught young girls there as part of a social entrepreneurship project, young girls who are in middle and high school, how to use design thinking process. And we co-designed ideas with them. So this is something that could be, like I said, we're all extraordinarily creative, but we do need a process. So I think my answer is teach everyone your process and get them to think together with you.
Amazing. They already have a school, and I'm sure now in the curriculum we will have design thinking and regenerative design. Thank you for that contribution,
I love it.
And what would be your question to Arzu Kaprol?
Okay, so Arzu Kaprol, I admire you and follow you. And here's my question to you. How can fashion and design innovate in harmony with longer lives that we love?
Oh, thank you so much, Ayşe. Thank you. This was amazing. Seeing you is amazing. Getting you closer to Spain, where I'm living, is amazing. And I'm looking forward to meeting also in person.
I hope so too. Thank you so much for having me. This was wonderful.
Thank you. Take good care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So this is what happens when you are guiding other people to design the lives and works that they love, and you keep on shining, you keep on inspiring. We had a lovely conversation with Ayşe Birsel, and she told us about all the developments and the new announcements, also what she's up to. I'm so excited. It's happening everywhere around the world. We are here, you are here, and let's come together. Join us in our platform, regeneratex.co, where as a community we can accompany each other in different life stages, work stages, and transitions with all the aspects of the potential of this beautiful life, so that we can take better care of ourselves, of each other, and our beautiful planet Earth. Take good care, and thank you so much.